Superman movie opens on a boundless landscape of snow. In the cold, Superman lays down in the snow with his blood pooling at his cheek. He whistles. The icy wind cuts. Superdog bounds through the snow, leaping towards his master to save him, right? But then Superdog pounces on him because he's not trained. Superman tells us kindness is the new punk rock. In his interview with Lois Lane, he almost breaks the fourth wall to tell the audience to inform them rather than show them the message of the movie. And I would say that kindness, unfortunately, is the minimum. Kindness isn't the new punk rock. Kindness is what we do for strangers. We're kind to people in public. For people we love, we make sacrifices. Kindness isn't heroic. And so I don't think that you can say that Superman being kind is something that's groundbreaking. I think it's something you can say is society shattering. It shatters the fabric of what debts and bonds we owe to our neighbors and our community if it's merely kindness. He can't train the dog. The dog is untrained. If Superman were to die, and that is a theme in some of his films or movies, the biggest liability to the planet would be this untrained, unstoppable dog. No effort has been put in on Superman's part. He's the only one strong enough to reprimand Superdog. He's the only one capable of taking up the mantle of authority necessary and doing the arduous task of disciplining the small animal into a likable and workable being so that he can go out and be a force for good in the world on Superman's side with him, right? And so he's dressed him up in the cape. He's given him the trappings. He has the power. But nobody has shaped or molded the dog into a way where the dog can be practical, where he can be useful. That's a failing. And that's a kindness. That's what that is. It's a lack of commitment. Superman hasn't put in the effort to have what would be a more difficult relationship with the dog, one where he has to reprimand him, one where his dog has to learn that his place is as Superman is his master. Our society shirks from training dogs. Many people have a dog and they treat it as a child or a companion or a friend or something. But they don't give it what it deserves, which is to be a pet. You are responsible, whole cloth, for your dog's well-being. It will never grow up and go to college and go out and move on the world and pay for itself. When it dies, you will still be responsible for its whole life, for its care. You're its master. And Superman shirks that mantle of responsibility and doesn't train the dog. And so while superhero films like Thunderbolts might look at the void, the darkness within us all and question that motif and articulate it, it's not necessarily the themes that we look at that give us something from storytelling. Socrates articulates this. He says that the artist is the lens, or rather is imbued and endowed with the spirit of the muse. That the imperfections that we see in the world and that get recorded into our art give it a life unto itself, unto its own. And that is what art is, that it inspires, that it makes you feel something. And so the artist doesn't have the authority to tell us what it is that their art means. Instead, we get to examine it through our own lives and experiences and what we take away from that. And that's what they leave us as artists. And so I, as the observer of the art, sort of a black box theory of sorts, have observed that Superman has shirked the mantle of authority and merely is kind, rather than to carry the weight and the yoke that he is responsible for. And we see this in his dog, and we see this in the film. So thank you.